Hey people, how's it going? Welcome to my video for tips, tricks, guides to help you along the path of creating your one-man band metal project, whether that be traditional heavy metal, black metal, power metal, whatever. First and foremost, well done. I condone you for, taking the step to pretty much annihilate yourself from any other bandmate, any other level of criticism, have it all be done by yourself. Now, before we get started, you're probably, in case you're brand new, hi, you might be wondering, who is this guy to help give me tips and guides? Well, as you can see by the name of the channel, Rusty Darlington, that's me. I actually managed to pull it off. I got a solo one-man band project done. It took a while. It took like a good chunk of 3 years to get everything done, but more or less, we got it done. I'm super proud of it. It's 7 tracks. For those who are interested, please listen to it. It's on Spotify. Just type in Rusty Darlington. I'll be right there. But aside from that, I thought, why not help out just, some other people like me who were looking at everyone, looking up people trying to do it and wanting, what do I need to do? What do I need to have? What do I need to do? So I thought, you know what? I'll make a little quick tip, trick, guide video to help you start your path, really. So yeah, without further ado, I've got it separated into like 3 categories. I've got the essentials, which is obviously the stuff that you can't not have if you want to pursue this path. You've then got handy, I've called it handy add-ons, but not essentials. And then I've got just tips and tricks. So yeah, without further ado, let's just get straight into it and tackle the essentials that you guys need for your one-man band heavy metal project. I suppose the first thing that we should bring up is I am bringing this from the perspective of obviously a heavy metal angle, and I'm also bringing it from the perspective of a guitar player. So it comes as no surprise that the first thing you guys are going to physically need is a legit instrument. Okay, so you can have as many guitars as you want, but obviously you need a main one to be able to record actual guitars, right? But before we even got the hardware, you need a physical instrument to do it. If you're writing instrumentals forever, then sweet as. But if you're like me and you weren't writing instrumentals, even though I've got 2 of them, if you're like me, you also need vocals. You need microphones as well. These are the 2 most important physical bits of hardware that you need. You need a stringed instrument and you need a microphone as well. As for all that fancy, stand and booth stuff, that's not essential. If we're talking real proper start basic, okay? Do not try to convince yourself that you're going to sound amazing. So even if you sit here at your desk without anything, just into the microphone, all good. It starts off as a demo, it might stay as a demo. I think that's a great place to start. So yeah, we've got our instrument being the guitar, and we've got a microphone as well to record inputted voice. Fantastic. Coming up next, you need an interface to record your instrument. This is what picks up the sound from the guitar and brings it out of the computer. I, like a basic bitch, and everyone else across the one-man band population, we use the Scarlett 2i2. Again, Focusrite, no product placement, no sponsors, just me telling you what I've got. This one works brilliantly. I've had it for about 3 years since I started to wanting to do my one-man band thing, and I still have it today. I would physically show you, but it's plugged in and I can't be bothered unplugging it because there's cables everywhere. But yeah, this one I've got just has the 2 inputs for 2 guitars, but it also is where you plug in your microphone as well to bring out your voice. And it's got, gain settings and volumes and a few other bits and bobs. But for me, doing what I want to do, it does the job perfect. For someone who's just creating a standard rock track, a drum kit, 2 guitars, maybe 3, and a microphone, it's perfect. Do you know what I mean? So that is another key essential that you need. You don't have to get the Focusrite 2i2. I think you can get other stuff from Focusrite. You don't have to go to Focusrite at all. You can get other stuff across the planet, but like I say, this is just standard. It does the job and it's perfect. So yeah, you need an interface. Third thing you need, once you've got the hardware, the instruments, and the interface, you now need your first piece of software, and it's called a DAW. And I don't mean door, I mean D-A-W, or as the Americans say it, DAW. This stands for Digital Audio Workstation, but that doesn't sound anywhere near as fun as what I call it. This is your studio. This is where all your tracks are going to be laid out. This is where all your recordings are going to take place, and all your editing and all your mastering and all that stuff. But don't worry about mastering just yet. This is where you will see all your tracks: drums, vocals, guitar, bass, you know, and any other thing you want to add to it. But you can go out and get, you know, you can buy digital audio software. If you get the focus right, at least if you get the packet that I got, it comes with a DAW like installed in the drivers and stuff. So you just have to like, once you install the drivers from your workstation, once you install the drivers from your interface, it comes with like all these little bits of add-ons. However, I don't use the one that Focusrite actually gave me. I use Reaper because it's free. You can pay for Reaper, but it is also free. So like I say, we're sort of on a budget, but also we're not high-tech musicians. Let's be honest. This is, you know, so the fact that we got a free interface is brilliant. So yeah, like I say, that's where you record all your stuff. So that is vital to have. And now the last one that I'll say is you need to just learn a little. If you want to sound good, okay, like, you know, if you want your music to sound actually a little bit like music, regardless of like who you're inspired by, I won't lie, you do need to learn the tiniest bit of theory, just a small chunk. You know, I'm not saying you need to be an absolute aficionado at reading sheet music. God no, I can't read sheet music. I just rely solely on tabs, brother. So like when I say this, I just mean like, you know, learn the intervals, learn keys of music, you know. So when you write a riff, you can be like, all right, cool, if I do this, maybe if I put over it, it will sound nice rather than just chunking over a bunch of notes. It really helped. I didn't go to school to study music. My plan was, but I didn't get accepted. So like, in terms of like harmonizing riffs and just trying to make yourself sound better, you do have to like sit here for a good while. If you're like me and you're not clued on, you do have to sit here for a little while and just kind of like figure out note by note, so that's the A, so the fifth of the A is D, or whatever it is, you know, and then you'd be like, oh yeah, that does that. So it can slow down your process, but also, if you're like me and you don't have dates, like if you don't have, what are they called? Not timelines, what are they called? If you don't have, oh my god, I can't think of the word. If you don't have a specific date that stuff needs to be done by, then you can sit there for 5 years figuring out what notes go better with what. But it also works well with solos as well. If you come up with a riff, if you don't know what key you're in, you could be soloing all over the neck and think it sounds great, and then you listen back to it and it actually sucks. So, like I say, just a key little bit of theory would help you go a long way. So yeah, those are the in my opinion, four extreme fundamentals that you need in order to get this project starting off the ground. So actually, one thing that I forgot to mention that I noticed while I was editing this video is another actual essential that you as a guitar player will need. You need amp sims. I completely forgot all about it, and then it just came back into my mind. So an amp sim is your guitar amplifier that is inside the computer. Again, there's free ones. There's a really, really good free one that is done by someone that I can't remember. That's what it looks like. There's what it is. I'll edit it in. I can't escape what it is. But yeah, this one's free. If you're like me and you don't really understand like the fundamentals of like amp settings in terms of like mids and trebles and basses and all that, even just taking this free amp sounding awesome without editing any of the dials, you'll sound metal as anyway. Obviously you can buy other ones. There's ones out there that are endorsed by, you know, like our favorite artists. I know John Petrucci from Dream Theater has one, and I would love to have that. It has so much built into it, it's ridiculous. But the one I use Stevie T's one that he came out with a few years ago. The one setting that I use, it's based off a Mesa Boogie, which is a pretty awesome amp. A rectifier, I think it's called. And yeah, that's my guitar sound. It has, you know, crunchy rhythms, it has punchy leads, it has also beautifully clean sounds. So that's much easier than like setting up recordings for actual amps. I don't know how to do that, like I said before. Well, or if I haven't said it yet, depending on where I put this in the video, we're not engineers, we are musicians. So I would highly recommend getting your hands on a free amp sim. And if you want to fork out a little bit of money, you know, look for a good one. Look for a respected artist that you like, you know, that you trust or whatever. And that's where you get your crunchy guitar metal tones from. I can't believe I actually forgot about those. But yeah, that's very important too. That is a key essential that you need. You need an amp sim, you need a guitar amplifier, otherwise your guitar will constantly sound clean and never get distorted. So yeah, make sure you get your hands on one of those. Great, those are the 4 essentials. Now we're talking about handy little add-ons that, you know, just make it that little bit better. The first one being an actual bass guitar. If you're like me, all of my bass tracks on my album were recorded with real bass. I'm not a bass player. As you can tell, this one's actually backwards. This is my darling partner's bass guitar, but I use it a lot more than she does. But because I'm not writing Dream Theater-esque bass riffs, I don't need, you know, I don't need to change the strings. Normally, but I won't lie, I'm not just playing root fifth. Anyway, yeah, a real bass guitar could be handy, you know, if you're comfortable playing the bass and the rhythm tracks, you know. Like I say, if you're not, if you like bass to be intricate and rather than just root fifth stuff, you are able to tab out the bass notes in a software like Guitar Pro, which I'll talk about later. But you can actually use what's called MIDI basses. So essentially fake bass guitar. You tab out the notes in a software and then you adapt a fake bass instrument to it and it comes out as a bass player, as a bass guitar sound, so you don't actually have to play it yourself. But that, I would only recommend doing that if you, one, can't afford a bass guitar, or like, you know, if you're 17 and you've only like just gotten your first guitar or whatever. It saves a lot of time because you write a riff into the computer and then you attach a bass to it, and suddenly John Mayung is coming out of the computer, and you're like, God, I'm good. But yeah, I do recommend getting a bass guitar and actually playing those bass notes yourself, because one, it gives you much more of appreciation for the bass player. You know, my favorite metal band of all time wouldn't exist without the bass player, so I don't really know why everyone shits on the bassists. But yeah, like I say, get a bass guitar, but if you don't have one, you can MIDI them in. Same with keyboards. Again, not essential, but if you are like me, again, and you want a little bit of symphonic-y element in your music, so the likes of Nightwish and I'll say Dream Theater, again, for that proggy symphonic sound. Keyboards help with VSTs, which are virtual instruments, to those who don't know, to help you get like orchestral instruments, violins, cellos, what else does an orchestra use? You know, all that other string stuff, clarinets, flutes, harps, even like the percussion side of the orchestra can be done on one of these bad boys. So, but again, not essential. You can do it all on an actual computer keyboard, like a QWERTY one. You just have to enter every note by note, which can take a bit of a while, but the creative process is a bit fun. But this way is obviously easier, because you can be like, cool, I'm holding an E note there, so I'll hold an E note here, done. As opposed to, yep, E note, click, click, drag, you know what I mean? So again, takes a while if you're doing orchestral music, but speeds up the process a lot if you're doing it on an actual keyboard. So yeah, 2 handy add-ons, but not essentials for your project to sound good. Awesome, so now we're gonna talk about tips and tricks, just to help sort of smoothen the process out, you could say. First one I'll say is the one I name dropped earlier, Guitar Pro. I can't stress this one enough. Get Guitar Pro. I got my hands on a version a good while ago, and I've still got it, and it works fine. It really comes in handy for, like, one, memorizing and learning your actual riffs that you want to write. If you're one of these people that can write riffs in their head and then want to put it onto an instrument, put it into Guitar Pro, and it, you know, and one, you can play with it, practice it, speed it up, slow it down, move it around, all that good stuff, and just hearing what it actually sounds like. The cool other thing about Guitar Pro, which I actually haven't mentioned yet, drums. You are able to write drums in Guitar Pro, which helped me a great deal. So, like, I am not a drummer, right? But I've listened to metal for nearly 20 years now. And so when I hear the drums in a song, I can hear what the drummer's doing. Do you know what I mean? I know how the drum kit works. I know which drum sits where, to a point, obviously. When it comes to Mike Portnoy and Neil Peart, maybe not. But the standard rock kit, even maybe Nico McBrain might be a bit much considering how big his kit is. Anyway, the point I'm getting at is you can write simple enough drums in Guitar Pro with their software that they give you, and it sounds awesome. It sounds a bit robotic, but then that's where the VST drum kit comes from. So, but I'll bring up the drums again at the end. So don't worry, I haven't forgotten about the drums because obviously look around, I don't have a drum kit. Recording drums, like physical drums, is proper studio time, which we're not about. We are just learning how to start this project really. So yeah, get Guitar Pro, learn how to program in the drums, and it's playing along with your riffs to a drum kit as opposed to a click track or whatever. It just sounds so much more inspiring and it sounds a lot more real, I feel. Okay, so actually I'm actually going to bring the drums up now. So yeah, up until this point you have a guitar player, right? You have the guitar, doing all the rhythm, doing all the leads, sweet as. You have a bass guitar doing the bass notes. Obviously you have a singer doing the singing. This is all you, obviously. This is the whole point of one-man band. You then get the job of being the drummer. So one thing that will probably put you down, like unmotivate you, will think is a thing that happened to me. My drums don't sound real. Now, what you have to remember, it's the first album, for God's sake. Like I say, don't write a riff, don't write a drum pattern, and then listen to your favorite bands, because you will get kicked in the guts and you'll be put down pretty much thinking, I suck, I don't know how to do this. That's because you're not an engineer, okay? Remember that. You are a musician, okay? And the mixing and the mastering stuff will come much later, but this is purely focusing on writing the riffs and writing the songs, okay? So don't stress about my sound quality is rough, because it will be rough, especially if you're trying to do like first wave black metal stuff. But anyway, the whole point I'm getting at is your drums are going to sound a bit funny. Deal with it. Like, you can pay for great drum VSTs from there's Tomb Tracks, Superior Drummer, Easy Drummer, that's another one. But the one I use, again, no product placement, no sponsor or anything. The one I use, what's it called? MT Power Kit, because it's free. I got it ages ago when I was experimenting with drums, and the drums I was writing worked with it. Do you know what I mean? If you listen to the album, yeah, the drums can sound a bit funny in some places, but like I say, this is without actually any studio time recording drums. So MT Power Kit is free and does the job great. And so with that whole thing of what I was saying before about the MIDI bass stuff, you write your drum pattern in Guitar Pro, you then chuck it into your DAW, into your Reaper studio thing, attach the MT Power Kit to it, and then booyaka, your drums actually sound like a better drum kit than they did in Guitar Pro. So, again, much better to practice the riffs and all that jazz with actual drums that sound more like a drum kit as opposed to a click track. It makes it so much more fun and it makes it so much more inspiring. So, yeah, if you're brand new to this and all that sounds great, all that sounds fun, but that VST part sounds confusing, let me know. If you want a separate video done on how to get your VST MIDI instruments working, let me know. I'll happily guide you through that one as well. But yeah, that's pretty much my, not step-by-step guide, but my just guidance into, hey, you want to make an album by yourself? It's going to be hard, but God, is the reward great. So yeah, let me know down below if you have any questions about it. Like I say, my album is out. It's out physically. Well, actually, it's not out physically. I've just got a few specially made. But it's out on Spotify. Go listen to it and you'll see what I mean by like production-wise. I'm not an engineer. I've got Easy Mix, I think is what it's called. Easy Mix, which kind of does the whole mixing, mastering thing for me, because I tried to learn it, didn't really work. But yeah, let me know if you think I've missed something. If you've got any questions about it, let me know. I'll be happy to answer. So thanks for hanging out with me, team, while I sit here and take you through a step-by-step guide on how to get your one-man metal project off the ground. And if you already have one, link it down below. I'll be happy to check it out, whether it's black metal, jazz, funk, whatever. One-man projects, I think, are awesome because it's just, it's just fun. So yeah, can't wait to see what you guys come up with. And until that happens, I will see you in the next video. So see you later.